Hello and welcome into NTTV SportsZone for the first time this semester. I'm Jeremiah Russo, your host. This past Sunday, Rihanna came out of her 7-year hiatus to perform in front of 68,000 people in what looked like a Super Smash Brothers stage that I played against my brother. Oh yeah, and also like the Chiefs won the Super Bowl against the Eagles, but like that's like who really cares about that? But I guess to talk about that going on, we have my guys Mason Shepard and Parker Smith. I see a little bit of the arrowhead, Parker. How are we feeling?
I'm rocking the bling bling today to support the Super Bowl champion, best team in the NFL, Kansas City Chiefs. That's right.
I can't really argue. I mean, I'm a Cowboys fan, so I was rooting for the Chiefs anyway. So he was the best of both worlds for me. I'm a big Pat Mahomes guy, and then the Eagles lost. So
you see, I secretly wanted the Chiefs to win, but my FanDuel account definitely shows that the Eagles are going to win, and I lost a good like $50 that night. But you know, I'm glad. I got my Texas Tech guy, but Parker.
Call 1-800-GAMBLER if you need some assistance, all right?
Hey, this is not sponsored by DraftKings, by the way. But Parker, what did you see out there what just happened out there?
So I really saw a battle that was won in the trenches by the Kansas City Chiefs. 0 sacks on what most people thought was the best defensive line in football. So, I mean, the Chiefs' O-line really stonewalled him. And look, and Mahomes was on one ankle again this week, and it was really just like, I think it was a lack of adjustment by Jonathan Gannon, the defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. He sat back in that zone, rushing 4 all day, and Mahomes just picked him apart. He dared him to beat him, and he beat him. 38 points, and he barely had any time of possession as well. It was really a masterclass by Mahomes.
yeah, no, without a doubt. Super Bowl fans, let me talk to you. You know, when watching this game, it was what I expected in terms of it was an offensive clinic, in my opinion. Both teams played well, but it was really going to come down to who was going to make the last play, who was going to play better. And I really feel like the Kansas City Chiefs, they were getting beat a little bit down the stretch in the second quarter, but when they came back, which you kind of knew that they would, in fact, it was even discussed with Aaron Andrews that Patrick Mahomes was like, hey, our fans don't like how we always come from behind, but we know what to do. This is how we do it.
And let me tell you, it's stressful. It's very stressful.
I was about to say, it was such a great game.
No, it was a very good game, yeah.
A fan of, unfortunately, neither teams, but I support Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
The day I die, I will. It was such a great battle. And I remember everybody saying, oh, this is such an easy game. The Eagles, they're going to do what they're doing. I'm going to be honest, the Eagles, I don't see as frauds. I really don't. I mean, yes, they had the second easiest schedule, and the Kansas City Chiefs had the worst schedule, and they still ended up in the same spot. But what do you think about the Eagles? Do you think they're a legit team, or you think this was just Fantasyland? Parker, let's go with you.
Okay, so the Eagles team this year, they were the best team in football, no doubt about it. But they didn't have the best player in football, and that's Mahomes. And that was really, it's what I said last week on our little dry run, is that Mahomes is just the difference maker, and the guy's Superman, and he can just do things that nobody else can. The time of possession battle was like 70-30 for the Chiefs. Like, the Chiefs were barely on the offense, but it didn't matter. Whenever they got the ball, they marched right down the field. Mahomes finding Kelsey, Mahomes finding Juju, doing what he had to do, and he just really got it done.
I mean, that's a good point, too, because, the defense, Nick Bolton with the forced fumble against Jalen Hurts getting that touchdown.
Yep.
It gave Mahomes enough time for, to heal that ankle, so that's definitely something you want to see. Mason, what else did you see out there? Was it just a complete collapse by the Eagles? Or?
No, it's one of those things where it's like, and this is like an old football cliche, but like two great teams can play, but the better team has to win. And Kansas City was the better team. And I really feel like when it comes down to Patrick Mahomes, what I saw in that game, I know everybody's calling him Super Mahomes, Superman. I actually refer to him more as Martian Manhunter, because the guy can do pretty much anything and everything.
Yep.
And, it comes down to the fact that kid has just an internal grit that not a lot of people have. When he took off on that bad ankle, it just really showed that nothing was going to stop him in the game. And everybody knew he was coming back in the game. I wasn't worried about that. So I really feel like it just came down to who was going to be the better team, and it was Kansas City. The Eagles, nobody should take away, and as much as it pains me to say, nobody can take away from them that they were the best, most efficient team in football this year. They were great.
I mean, you look at Patrick Mahomes, the first time since 1999 by Kurt Warner that a player has won the MVP for the regular season and the Super Bowl MVP.
And I think, realistically, he's cemented himself as a top 5 quarterback in NFL history from this season. I would argue already that he's the most talented player we've ever seen touch a football in the National Football League. But, as far as greatness goes, accomplishments, his career stacks up. Not many quarterbacks has the resume of Mahomes has, and he's only in his 5th year as a starter. 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 rings.
That's incredible. There are a very few handful of guys that can retire now and they would get a bust later.
First ballot.
And it's one of those things. And now it's curious when it comes down to, because people talk about Joe Burrow and some of the other new guys, But I think some of us did kind of lose sight that Mahomes will still be the face of this franchise.
And it's nice to, like, it's not even an argument anymore, because if the Bengals went and they won it this year, a lot of people could say that maybe Burrow was the guy, but it's not even close.
I want to touch on Jalen Hurts on the other side. He had 3 touchdowns, all rushing, or 3 rushing touchdowns, most in the Super Bowl MVP era, beside Terrell Davis, Hall of Fame running backs, when he did it against the Green Bay Packers. Is the sky the limit for this guy, Mason? What do you think?
Sky's the limit for Jalen Hurts. He is an incredible talent. He plays incredible ball. And there's just, with that team built around him, he has proven that he is more than capable and that he can get the job done.
Yeah, and I mean, you just take a look. The Chiefs, they're going to be great. The Eagles, I think they're going to be okay. Yes, they lost both their coordinators this past.
I'm just curious to see how the Eagles move forward, having to pay Hurts and taking that cap hit, and see what the rest of the roster looks like.
Well, I mean, as now we finish the NFL season going into free agency, we actually have a team right here outside of our own backyard, the UNT softball team that's actually getting ready for their season. So we'll cover them coming up next. Welcome back to SportsZone. This past weekend, the North Texas Mean Green softball team went on fire like the city of California with all their forest fires, going 4-0 this past weekend, and they also outscored their opponents 26-3. Joining me now to discuss what happened this past weekend, we got Trey Francis and Sean Huntley. Guys, what did y'all see from this weekend?
Yeah, obviously, lighting it up, like you said. 2 of those were shutouts, and the other 2 games, only getting up 2 runs and 1 run. So not only great hitting, but great defense.
I mean, they absolutely killed it. Absolutely killed it. I mean, you got Michaela Smith, who had 3 home runs over this tournament, almost matching her career record of 4, which was set last season. And then you had the pitching that was absolutely outstanding. I mean, overall, this team performance was incredible, one of the best in the past couple of seasons. So I think it's a bright future for the softball team.
Yeah, just looking at actually what went down. So we started off against USC, 5-0 win, beautiful game. St. Francis was next, 8-0 win, and that actually was a mercy rule at 5 innings. So little bit of a rest for us, because the next game we had UConn, even though we didn't need the rest because it was a 10-2 victory, blew them out in 6 innings, another mercy rule. And then we had Georgia Tech with a 3-1 game. I know we already touched about Michaela Smith. Trey, did you have like a really big key player of this weekend?
I mean, I really like Molly Rainey. A couple home runs, couple RBIs, 4 walks too, which is a big one. So she was really good, and so was Kaylee Christensen. I know you like Kaylee Christensen.
That's my girl. You can't go wrong with Kaylee Christensen. Never.
And she had 5 hits and 3 RBIs. So, they're all, coming together and helping each other out and ultimately leading to these victories.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about hitting. Obviously, that's how you put up those points. But let's go on the pitching side. Only give up 3 runs in 4 games. That's insane. So I want to key on an Ashley Peters. So Ashley Peters, if y'all didn't already know, the 2023 preseason pitcher of the year for softball. That's already a ridiculous an award to be received. And not only that, but CUSA Pitcher of the Week. I mean, Sean, what did you see out there from hers especially?
Absolutely phenomenal pitching. I mean, all around for one, but I think Ashley Peters takes the cake. I mean, I think she's gone 16 innings that she has not allowed 1 run. She pitched a shutout game against, I believe it was St. Francis, and then she had a complete game against Georgia Tech on Sunday to wrap it up. I mean, what more could you say about this? I mean, this entire pitching rotation, I mean, from her to Mackenzie Wagner as well, who pitched incredible in relief.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this pitching staff and what Rodney DeLong has done for this team. Last year, they won the championship of the CUSA, but they only had 2 pitchers. Now, luckily, those 2 pitchers were named Ashley Peters and Skylar Savage, or else, let's just say we wouldn't be in this situation. I mean, just talk about, Trey, how important was this pitching staff or pitching crew just to go into these games?
Yeah, they've been really dynamic. As we mentioned, Ashley Peters, and there's also Mackenzie Wagner. She came in from Liberty, and she's even put up, she's pitched 6.2 innings and had 6 hits, 13 strikeouts. I mean, she had 13 strikeouts, Ashley had 9, and Skylar had 5. That's some dominant performances there, and only giving up really about 5 or 6 hits each. So really just great pitching all around and setting the tone.
Yeah, and I mean, so this preseason, the UNT softball team was actually ranked 24 in the nation. That's already ridiculously impressive. After this weekend, they're now sitting at 22. Do y'all agree with that ranking, or you think we should be a little bit higher? You think we should be lower? What do you think, Sean?
It's early in the season, don't get me wrong, but I think with the way they're going right now, and Coach DeLong, his team, I think they got a chance to go much higher. I mean, it's gonna be tough with some of the teams that are already ranked a little bit above, but I think they're gonna go.
What do you think, Trey?
Yeah, no, I'm with them. Right now sitting at 22, got Louisiana right above you, and they have the same record, 4-0. And then a couple teams up there in front, 18, 19, 20, they all have, 1 or 2 losses apiece. Really comes down to strength of schedule, and I think UNT will, pick up and move up, as the season progresses. But just doesn't quite have the strength of schedule that those teams have. But still, 22 is really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, and just, we looked at these teams, obviously these are just preseason games, they don't really count for our standings and whatnot for, like, Conference USA. But looking into next weekend, we got another tournament. We got the Tracy Beard College Classic. We got teams like UT Arlington. We got McNeese State. What do you guys see? Like, what do you think we're going to do out there for you guys? Let's start with you, Trey.
I mean, I'm liking our odds. They have this momentum, so carry that forward into this tournament, playing both San Diego University and McNeese, like you said. And both those teams a little shaky, and I just don't think they match up to UNT softball team. So UNT should take both those games pretty easily.
Yeah, Sean, who do you have as breakout player? I mean, are we going to see the same thing, or are we going to see some people step up?
For sure, Michaela Smith is going to go off again like she did this past weekend. But another one I want to focus on is Katie Truitt, sophomore. She was hurt all last season, so I think she's looking to make a big impact on the team this year. And I'm excited to see what this softball team is going to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at people like Kaylee Christian, like we mentioned earlier. That's my girl. You can't go wrong with her. You got the senior. She's leading the team now. I mean, this is going to be her moment to kind of lead this team into, she's already experienced the championship. And so for those, like we said, Mackenzie Wagner, she hasn't been there yet. She's going to lead those players in there. I'm excited to see what they do. And obviously, like we said, this weekend tournament is in Salina, Texas. So y'all come out to the games. We got Friday. We got 2 games on Saturday and Sunday. But coming up next, as one season starts to begin, we have the push for the playoffs for another team here. That's right. The UNT men's basketball team is looking for the push to the playoffs coming up next. Welcome back to SportsZone. I'm your host, Jeremiah Russo. Now, the Mean Green basketball team has been on a tear lately, winning 6 of the last games, including a double overtime victory with 82-79 against UAB Blazers, and kind of a decimating score right there, 67-43 against Charlotte. And joining me now to discuss those events, I have my guys, Matthew Wagner and Jose Moreno. Guys, how are we feeling today?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to talk some Mean Green basketball.
Yeah, I know, and I know you were in the crowd for that double overtime game.
Yeah.
What did you see out there?
It was a back and forth battle all game, right? Like I thought near the end of the game in the fourth quarter, I thought we were gonna lose, and then we hit a clutch 3, and then I was like, my heart it stopped basically for almost the whole game, and then shout out to UAB for taking us to the brink and us taking them brink, and ultimately we beat them, and I was so happy about that, man. I was just, but my heart, man. I don't know if I can take any more of those close victories.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit tougher on those close-end victories. But Jose, what did you see out there?
UAB has always been one of our harder opponents in our conference. They always play up against us. I filmed a couple of games against UNT UAB, and every single time UAB shows to be a way bigger threat than I see them as. UNT played great, collapsing in the second half, of course, because UNT has a problem in the second half.
That's always a trend that we kind of follow.
But the first half was great against a great opponent, and honestly, I think we're putting a big statement win in our conference to take that berth for the March Madness.
Easily.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I could confidently say that we're going to be a 2-bid conference yet, but I mean, just taking a look at some of those key stats against UAB, we actually kind of hit almost every single one of our free throws. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think we went 23 for 25, which is ridiculous. I don't know. Grant McCaslin, bless up to you, bro. I don't know what you did with this team. You turned them around. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. But, I mean, let's look at some of these players. We have Abu Usman. In my opinion, he stepped up, all right? He can be a little bit floppy.
Sure.
I don't always agree with the the Kareem hook shot. Don't really agree with that. But, hey, 15 points, 8 rebounds, and an assist there. Tyler Perry, Medea himself, 28 points, went off. Kai Huntsberry. Jose, what do you see in just that dynamic duo between Perry and Huntsberry?
Just an insanely good defensive duo. Not many people are talking about UNT's defense this season. I mean, they're incredible. Not many teams score over 60 points, and when they do, we still kind of take them to the brink. Perry, not the offensive juggernaut we kind of need on this team, but he's still putting up great points at 17.1 with his Robin right next to him, Cushenberry, right? Just doing, 11 points per game, having a pretty good season as well. I think they've really kind of surprised us this season just due to the, not being a very high-scoring team. You don't really need your guard then, but still putting the points where we need them and still being, consistent in the clutch at all times. You can see that with the UAB game.
For sure. I loved. I know there are the 1 and 2, Huntsberry and Perry, but one guy that we're not really talking about, dude, give me Tyree Edey. Like, this guy, yeah, his stats probably aren't the best, right? But he's definitely a 4th or 5th option out there because he can sling the ball quickly. You know, this guy's passing is something that it's in his hands, it's out of his hands. And I think that's something you have to, you know, credit McCaslin for. You know, getting this team's chemistry right at the right time, especially with these, you know, La Tech coming up. That's going to be a pivotal game for us. You know, that's a game that we need, you know, maybe we don't need to win, but I would love to see a Mean Green W.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking about Grant McCaslin is actually 9 wins away from tying Bill Blakely for second all-time at UNT basketball wins at like 134. I think that's ridiculous. The things he's done already in our school, it's never been reciprocated. You look back.
He's given us a winning mentality. That's the biggest. I mean, I've lived in the Denton area since 2009, and I've seen that this team went from perennial chump to a team with confidence, a team that goes out there and they're like, hey, let's play some good freaking basketball. I'm tired of being a loser. You know, and Brent kind of brought that fire out of these players. I mean, he's using utility 2-stars and 3-stars and JUCO transfers to really make this team terrifying to play against. Truly, the king of the upset is UNT.
Yeah, I mean, he comes from, you know, walk on at Baylor. We all know the story. Walk on at Baylor, you know, he maybe averaged about 5-8 points. This little guy, you know, little Baylor, you know, and all of a sudden he just comes here and just, I want to say he actually does destroy all of UNT and just rebuilt it just like that. We're an entirely new team. Now, I know we have La Tech coming out, Matthew. What do you see coming up? This is a team without Baby Shaq, Kenny Lofton Jr., you know. But what do you think? Is this going to be another battle? Because last time it was a 67-65 UNT win, but that's a little too close. What do you think for this game?
Yeah, I think, you know, with the way the team's gelling right now, because when we first played La Tech, our team wasn't really gelling. We're missing our free throws. We're missing some passes, some easy turnovers. Now that the team's starting to gel, I can definitely see us, you know, winning by 4 or 5 points this time, maybe even 6, right? And, you know, I can't wait to see what this team can do, especially with the team gelling like they are right now.
I mean, better than Jelly Walker himself.
Oh,
I mean,
easily
hey,
better. Easily
Jelly
better.
Walker, baby, hey! Can't really get up because my mic's in pain, but that's all right. Jose, do you see us competing well in this Conference USA? Because obviously we can't get the 1 right now. But what do you see us kind of just playing in, kind of getting in there?
I see us upsetting the tournament, the postseason tournament. I genuinely think if we beat La Tech right now coming up, and we show them a big statement victory. I was filming that game last year when we beat them. I remember the entire crowd going crazy when they were coming back, and we were still trying to keep that lead, and we barely got through them. But La Tech is a very tricky team. They're always playing their hearts out. They always play rough. They always play very dirty. You know, and that's the thing. UNT's kind of scared of La Tech. La Tech has proven to be our kryptonite in the past. I just think if we focus, keep the confidence up, keep scoring, work on the scoring as well. Our defense has been great, but our scoring hasn't been the best.
Obviously, we all know what happened last year. Postseason, lowest scoring game in college basketball history.
That was tough.
But you know what? They're going to try to keep going. 6-game winning streak. They face La Tech Thursday night. Coming up next, we're going to talk about, we have the Dallas Stars, the team in green, also looking for their push to the playoffs. Coming up next. Welcome back into SportsZone. I'm your host, Jeremiah Russo. The Dallas Stars are coming off a pretty good season. They sit first in the Central Division, going 30-14-10. But they have a tough opponent, the Boston Bruins, the 39-8-5. Joining me now to discuss what the Stars need to do against the Bruins, I have my guys, Adam Say, and I have Miss Gabby Pippins. Guys, how are we feeling today?
Feeling good. Hope we get that dub. Victory green, baby.
Yes, also feeling good and confident.
Yeah, I mean, just like we mentioned, this is going to be probably one of the biggest games of the NHL and just in the season in general. The Dallas Stars, you know, #1 in the Central versus the #1 team in the entire NHL, the Boston Bruins. It's going to be ridiculous. It'll be such a date to go to. So y'all, happy Valentine's Day. Take your significant out. And if they don't want to go, take me. I'll definitely go to the game with you. I'm just playing. But going back to it, what do we see are the kind of the key steps? Gabby, I want to start with you. What do the Stars need to do against these Bruins?
So first and foremost, they need to have their defense up. Defense is definitely the most important thing here. Now, they are going to be against the Bruins, so it's going to be pretty hard to keep their defense up. So this might just become a game of scoring. So they also need to make sure they have their offense as well as their goaltenders.
Adam, what are you seeing out there?
I agree. I think defense is the most crucial aspect, considering you're facing the team that has the second most goals per game in the NHL, just under the Oilers. But again, defense don't always work. You need to be elite on all facets, like God mode, whole time, whole game. You can't just hope defense wins the day like we used to. We need to be elite on all sides.
Well, just like the saying goes, offense wins games, defense wins championships. This isn't a championship, so let's focus on the offense right here. You're going against Pasternak, David Pasternak. He has 38 goals and 72 points. The Stars can kind of rival him, but I would say, we only kind of have Jason Robertson, Rupert Hintz. Who do you think is going to be the big impact player in this game? I'm going to start with you, Adam.
Big impact player? I'm going to say Rupert Hintz. Dude brings a jolt to the offense that no one else, really besides Jason Robertson, brings. Rupert Hintz, fast guy, great player, great skater, always is going to crucial key to this offense.
I'm going to go with Jason Robertson. I mean, I know that's probably the better pick here, but I just feel like he's such a great player. He's definitely the best player on the Stars right now. And I feel like he's also going to be a player to watch here, especially because of the way he's doing. I mean, he's just got a really great, he's doing really great this season. So I feel like he's definitely going to be one of the major players for the Stars.
Definitely a front runner for the Hart Trophy that we're going to see. It's going to definitely go to McJesus. We all know that. But you know what? Us Dallas Stars fans can be happy. We got a candidate up there. I'm going to be actually looking for a guy. Everybody should know him. Tyler Seguin. How about the team that had him? How about the team that drafted him? I think he's going to play a little bit with a chip on his shoulder. Hey.
Oh,
what?
My bad.
My actual shoulder?
Nah. I was going to make a point after. I'm sorry.
You're okay. It's okay. The team that, just had him and they traded him or let go of him, I think he's going to play a little bit of that, you know what I'm saying? A little bit of that, I think he's going to have it, and we're going to see. Now, I want to flip it to the goaltenders because it's going to be undeniable. Linus Ullmark leads the league in goals against average and save percentage with a 190, barely giving up about 2 goals. And the save percentage 937 against our Jake Ottinger, who I think is one of the best goalies in the entire league, and I think he's better than him, but that's a story for another time. Gabby, what do you see in the goalie battle? Who do you think is going to take the advantage there?
As much as I hate to say it, because I am a Stars fan, I think it is going to be Ullmark there. I feel like they just have one of the best goaltending duos there, if not the best. So as much as I hate to say it, because they are the team that we're going against, it's going to be them.
I agree. Ullmark is red hot right now. The only way to beat him is just relentless offense. But even relentless offense, he'll stop it just as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a tough battle. But the good news for us Stars fans, the Bruins have only won 1 of the last 5 games, lost 4 of the last 5. That's a pretty good skin. They've all kind of been where they scored only like 1 or 2 goals. So right now we're on their heels. Do you think we have a chance to kind of catch them while they're still scrambling? What do you think, Adam?
I think we do. I think we got a chance to catch them. I think we have a chance to catch them while they're scrambling because right now they're kind of in a free fall. Not free fall, still one of the best. But I mean, for a team that's struggling and we can kick them while they're down.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think there's always a chance, especially if, like you were saying, there's just some relentless offense there. I feel like there's a chance that we could win this game. I'm not too confident, but there's still a chance.
Gotta have some confidence. I'm just like, you know what? That's okay. So I won't see you at DraftKings of later. No DraftKings, no FanDuel.
No.
We're still not sponsored by them, but none of that. Okay. I just want to make sure. Trade deadline's coming about 2 weeks. Do you guys, Gabby, do you see the Stars making any moves? Do you think they're kind of complacent with what they have?
I think they're pretty good right now. I mean, maybe they could use someone to go with defense, maybe with Miro. I could see that, but for now, I think they're pretty content.
I think they need to make 2 moves, one of which is going to help the team, one of which is also going to help the team. First move.
Both moves would help the team. What are you doing if you don't help the team?
I'm sorry, I said it wrong. But get rid of Khudobin. We should not be paying a player $3 million a year to mess around in the AHL. And I would also say, like you said, get a defenseman. I would say Luke Shen. He's on one of the better offensive years of his career, and he also plays the right side of the defense, which is noticeably weaker when you watch Stars games.
Yeah, I mean, I am not a fan of Ryan Suter. I think he needs to retire. As a Blackhawks fan, I've seen him for 20 years, and I'm sick and tired of him. I don't need his slow butt on the line getting burned every 3 seconds, and I think Taylor Hall is going to burn him every single time. But you know what? What do you guys think really quickly? Do you think the Stars are going to be champions, yes or no?
No.
Yes.
Oh, wow. We got a little bit of conflict here. But that's okay. Make sure to tune back in at Thursday at 5:30 for another episode of NTTV SportsZone. And if you're on any social media, go ahead and follow us at NTTV_sports. And don't go anywhere because coming up next is NTTV's Nightly News.